Nick Smary, Regional Sales Manager with Riverstone Fifth Wheels here. I'm gonna give you a quick tour of our plant. So production shut down. This frame, when it comes in, is the starting point. It's gonna be fully assembled. It's a 12-inch I-beam frame. You see it has an all steel upper deck. So most of the products you look at in the fifth wheel segment of the market, your upper deck steel is gonna end right here, and they're gonna build this all out of aluminum and have to tie that together. Where our steel is going the full length of the upper deck, so all your road stress is gonna be distressed over a lot bigger area of the frame. Now inside of here, we've got your tanks. So your gray and black tanks are gonna be the black ones. We've got a big white tank for your fresh water. So underneath all your tanks, you see we do have residential wool insulation. We've got the R38 reflective foil under there, as well as your plastic molded underbelly paneling. That paneling goes I-beam to I-beam down the entire frame. So your entire underbelly is enclosed, your tanks are heated, you have forced heat from your propane furnace going into there. We have a couple tables here where we build our floors. So all of our floors are 5/8 tongue and groove plywood. The heat duct is ran through the floor, so you will have heat duct openings coming through the floor. The bottom of our floor is wrapped with this, I always call it Darko material. I don't know what the real name is. It's kind of the industry slang for it. But it is a water barrier. It is breathable. A lot of guys will wrap the underbelly of their unit with that. That's why we use the molded plastic paneling. If you were to wrap with this on your underbelly and you have a problem, you have to cut through it. Where the paneling, you can actually pull a panel down to access your underbelly. But we do put this on the bottom of the floor, so if there ever were to be some type of moisture issue in the underbelly, all the insulation in your floor and the wood in your floor will be protected from that. You see the diamond plate material that we use in our pass-through storage areas in the basement storage. It is a flexible material. It's a nice heavy-duty material. So these would be those basement pass-through storage floors on this table. The unit's gonna get pushed forward and it's gonna come into this area. We've got all our cabinet shop in this back corner. So the cabinet shop is where they're gonna build all your face frame of your cabinetry. They're gonna build desks for the models with desks. You'll see all that stuff is built a few units ahead of time, so that when the unit gets to here, they can take your interior walls, all your cabinetry, set it on top of the frame, set it on top of the unit. As it moves down into the plumbing area, you're gonna see plumbing, hydraulic lines ran, starting to run your major wiring through it as well. So this area, they actually purge all your hydraulic lines. Your hydraulic lines are fully installed by this area. They fill them with hydraulic fluid and purge them of any air. All your plumbing lines are gonna be installed by the time the unit moves from this location. So we have plumbing, cabinet shop, the wall guys. Everyone has cut lists for every unit. So we try to run, we don't run super high productions. We run 2 a day. We schedule 2 weeks at a time. So we try and get as many of the same unit going in as a row so that the guys can be the most consistent on product every single day. So it's not uncommon to see 6 or 8 of the same floor plan in a row, even with our lower numbers. And that's where the plumbing mezzanine up top, they cut all the plumbing. They have the cut list for every unit. So if we're running RKFBs, they cut the same plumbing lines every single day for those 6 units. Just makes things a little more consistent and still keep our production volume at a lower volume, make it a little more friendly for production. So this would be our wall area. As we move into the wall area, you're gonna notice we build a hung wall. So we're gonna take a little walk back here to our wall table. We used to do aluminum prints of all our walls, where they would have to take an entire 42-foot aluminum wall, lay it on here to build your left wall, then take that off, lay the right wall on here to build your right wall, where they were gonna lay all the aluminum tubing. So our guys now have actually traced that all onto linoleum. So obviously still measure and square things up, but to initially lay things out, everything's done on these rolls. They can roll them up, store them all on one cart. It takes less energy for the guys, so they're gonna put more energy into different areas of their job. Also allows all these to be stored on one little cart instead of having 42 feet where they're piled against a wall somewhere in a factory. So once the wall is complete and they put the interior wallboard on, they're gonna flip it up to here, and then it's gonna hang on a big hoist up here. They're gonna pull it up on the hoist, move it forward, and they're gonna set it on the floor. So when they set it on the unit, every one of these L brackets that we build our frame with, instead of welding, we use a 90-degree L bracket where we glue it with Sikaflex glue, and then we also screw it. All these on the outside of the floor have a 3-inch screw going down through the wood and through the aluminum of the flooring. The floor is connected to the frame with carriage bolts. Then along here, you've got screws going into the steel upper deck all the way along here. In our next station, we'll actually take bolts and we'll bolt all the way through this aluminum and steel with a bolt with a washer and nut on the back side, 2 on each side. Now we're moving into the ceiling area. So they're gonna be putting your roof into your ceiling board on. So that's gonna be built in sections up top. It's a 5-inch aluminum roof rafter. Whether it's a wall, floor, roof, everything's gonna be on 16-inch centers with aluminum. Those are gonna be built in 8-foot sections, and then they're gonna be put on the unit here. So when we come over here, it's got a roof. Now the AC ductwork is all ran. We try to do some things a little different at Riverstone. So a lot of times you'll hear about shakedown in a unit, and there's no way to avoid a little bit of sawdust in these things. A big thing we started doing is we actually custom built plugs for all of our AC ductwork. So when they put the roof on and they have to route out the AC holes, all the AC ductwork actually has custom made plugs, so none of that sawdust is gonna get into your AC system. And that's where people see a lot of sawdust coming down over the first couple of weeks to month they own a unit. We've taken a lot of that out with just some little steps, trying to be better. Every day we're trying to strive to be a little better product. So as we continue to move into electrical, you see wiring coming everywhere. So this unit is just entering electrical. They've set a lot of their wire cuts on here. And what this unit, when they come in, they'll start hooking up all these different 12-volt 110 wires. They'll start seeing ceiling lights hung inside. Now you look at this next unit, the wiring looks a heck of a lot cleaner. So they've taken all those runs of wire and they've started connecting them where they need to connect them. Now you'll see inside of your wall cavity here, you can see where the wire is actually connected to either the aluminum or the Lawan. So that's part of our VIA code. Depending on what type of wire it is, every so often you have to put a connector on there to hold it down. Inside, you start seeing ceiling lights put up, ceiling fans on there, all the wiring's in place for your TV. Now you're gonna start seeing some of the appliances go in, and we're getting pretty close to putting the exterior wall on. Now you're gonna see it getting insulated here. After they insulate it, they're gonna pick up the 40-foot pieces of fiberglass and they're gonna glue that fiberglass on with Lawan. They're gonna glue that fiberglass on with Sikaflex. That Sikaflex is 450 pounds a square inch is what it holds at. It stays somewhat pliable, so going down the road, the L brackets and the Sikaflex allow your wall to flex without cracking anything. When you get a rigid, welded wall and vacuum bonded, you have a better chance for one of the sealants to pop loose. You have a better chance for a crack by one of the welds. See, this unit has the exterior fiberglass on it. No, we haven't changed to gray. That's the primer gray that is our painted units. So most of what you see down this line is gonna be primer gray. We're running pretty heavy paint right now. So once they put the fiberglass on, they will route out all the holes. You see where all your exterior doors are gonna be. You're gonna see some random screws in here. Those are all gonna be pulled. They're just helping hold things down, but they will be pulled and trim will go over those areas when it's all said and done. So as you move into our metal area, you'll see where they're putting our 040 skirting. It's a nice heavy skirt on. You'll see where this area is getting cleaned up for baggage doors, your water heater. You know, your furnace is already in here. Your battery trays are fully in here. Now on this next couple of stations, the unit's really gonna start looking complete. So now you've got all your baggage doors on, your front cap's going on, your rubber roof's about to go on. When I say rubber, it's actually Dicor Diflex 2. It is a TPO material. It's not the rubber roof that you always used to hear about. It's a blended product. It's a better product than the old rubber roofs, a little more durable. So this unit actually has our optional 12-gallon gas electric water heater in it instead of the on-demand. But outside, it's looking pretty finished except for these slide outs. And one thing you'll notice going down line, there's no furniture in these units. A lot of units traditionally will get furniture before the slide outs go in. Most units use a little smaller door. All our furniture will fit through the door, so we do it last thing online. So this is our slide out department. You see them all staged here. They're gonna use some lifts to get them up into the holes, get the slide outs connected. Your main floor slides are gonna be hydraulic. Your raised slides are gonna be electric Schwintek slides. Those are ready to be set in their openings. So all your slide outs are actually made in this area back here. It's one part of the factory that is its own little assembly line. I mean, they do exterior 3-inch walls, they have to do roof, they have to do electrical, they have to do cabinets. Basically everything that's done in the plant except for plumbing, they do in some capacity in the slide out department. So we'll take a quick peek in one of these slide outs, but you'll see how nothing trimmed out, how it looks pretty unfinished in here as of right now. Here's a little peek into the 54 different pieces of decals that they have for a decaled unit. So we use probably 40% more decals than most guys. We have really good coverage in our decal packages. But as we move through this department, you're gonna see a lot of hardwoods. I mean, these are a slide out cover, it's a toe kick cover, that's stained hardwood. It's not a paper wrapped product, it's not a pressed, it's not pieces of Lawan. All your window sill treatment stuff here is all stained hardwoods. I mean, even your center blocks on your arches, it's a solid piece of hardwood. It's not foam, it's not pressed, it's not wrapped. Corner blocks for your crown molding, solid hardwood pieces. So we use as many hardwood pieces as we can in the unit. There are very few spots where we use anything else. Flip a couple lights on inside of this so you get an idea what it looks like now. There's a lot still finishing here. We're just having trim around the slide outs, trim on the corners of these walls, the crown molding. What a big difference that makes from that unit that was coming out of slide outs. Now we'll pop ahead another 2 stations. You're gonna have your valances, your TV hung, your fireplaces in, your appliances should be installed as well. And all of a sudden it's a finished unit. So it really wraps up quick. There's a lot of stations to get to this point, but then in just a handful of stations, it goes from looking real raw and unfinished to basically a done unit. All right, so now we're moving 2 units ahead. You can see a lot of these air ride hitches as we go through. It is an option, but they're pretty standard on our units. Well, as we come into this unit, I hear the TV is on already, because they do test all the electronics here. So you notice things are getting pretty finished up in here. So all your appliances are in here. Your residential fridge, microwave, your nice big stove, oven, dishwasher. You got your nice accent lighting with your wood bezel, nice half moon wood bezels with your ceiling lights. All your trim's pretty much gonna be on by now. Bedroom's gonna be pretty finished up. You're almost a finished unit. So we're still just a few stations from going out the door, but the unit's about done. So the next couple stations, you're gonna see the unit's getting cleaned. Things are gonna be tested. So we have some tests throughout the line. They pressurize your water lines as it's going down line to make sure everything is working correctly. One of the final things they'll do though is re-go through all the systems, test all your propane appliances once they're all hooked up, test your water heater, your furnace. Every unit that we send out the door to go to paint, it's not gonna have awnings, it's not gonna have vent covers. We actually have a specific booth that we pull things into with extra lighting so we can go over the paint under extremely good lighting. We have a body guy here at the factory that goes through every unit, rebuffs anything that needs to be buffed. He will, if there's any little touch-up paint he needs to do, he will. Very seldom do we have problems with our paint facility. So we tested about a half dozen of them to see where we get the best quality from consistently, and that's who we're using. With 100% of the products we use. Now we've got a few bays back here, so you'll see we've got a nice steel mist unit over here. That steel mist unit has gone to the paint facility and come back. It doesn't have vent covers, doesn't have awnings on the other side, so our guys will bring it in, they'll put trimmer on the slide out, they'll do some of the caulking after the fact, because a lot of times that paint doesn't want to stick to some of that caulk extremely well. Just gives it a cleaner look, a better look. Takes a little bit longer to do as much after the fact as we do, but it comes out a lot nicer, so that's why we do it that way. And that is the quick version of a factory tour. We do tours in person. You just got to call and set them up by appointment. We're happy to have anyone and everyone that's interested in Riverstone here to the factory. Thanks for your time. Have a good day.